Reading the title of this piece might lead someone to believe it's going to explore the delicate nuances of intimate affection from experts. However, the focus here is quite different. It's about genuine, heartfelt closeness shared between partners. It's about understanding the importance of connection and communication in fostering a meaningful relationship that thrives beyond superficial expectations. Have you ever found yourself eagerly awaiting a special occasion, like a birthday or Christmas, dropping countless hints to friends or family about a gift you truly desire? Maybe you mentioned that book, gadget, or special experience you had your heart set on, imagining the joy you'd feel upon finally unwrapping it. However, when the big day arrived, you unwrapped the present only to discover something entirely different, not what you wanted, not quite what you hoped for. The feeling is familiar to many. We are taught to be grateful for any gift, and indeed, appreciation for the giver's effort is important. After all, someone took the time and care to think of us and offer something. On the surface, gratitude comes easily because the gesture symbolizes love and thoughtfulness. Yet beneath that gratitude, there can linger a sense of disappointment or frustration. Interestingly, this dynamic doesn't only apply to physical gifts. It extends deeply into emotional and intimate exchanges within romantic relationships. Partners often expect that their gestures or displays of affection, no matter how misaligned with the other's desires, will be received with the same gratitude they were given. This mismatch can silently plant seeds of misunderstanding or dissatisfaction. One partner assumes the other will be content with their way of showing care, while the other yearns for a different kind of attention or intimacy. Such disconnects can create an invisible wall, subtly eroding the connection over time. This brings us to the heart of the matter. True connection in relationships demands more than just giving and receiving. It requires attentive listening, honest communication, and a willingness to understand the unique language of affection that each partner speaks. Just as you might explain the kind of gift you'd prefer before a special occasion, it's equally vital, if not more so, to express and discuss intimate needs and desires openly. Without such communication, assumptions take root, and misunderstandings widen the gap between partners. It's easy to fall into the trap of assuming that what feels natural to us will also feel right to our loved one. We love what we love and want to share that with them. But love, in its truest form, means prioritizing the happiness of the other person, not just our own preferences. It's about seeking to understand not only what brings us fulfillment, but also what brings delight and satisfaction to our partner. This is often where genuine closeness flourishes, when both partners feel heard, valued, and cared for in ways that resonate deeply with them. The bond strengthens in meaningful ways. Reflecting on our own experiences, the desire to please can sometimes create pressure to perform or act in ways that don't fully reflect authentic connection. Early in relationships, especially when excitement and passion are fresh, it's common to try everything with enthusiasm. Exploration feels natural, spontaneous, and exhilarating. But as time passes, patterns develop. Certain acts of closeness feel affirming and enjoyable, while others might start to feel forced or less comfortable. Without conversation, partners may simply drop what's less enjoyable and settle into routines that feel safer or easier, even if they aren't fully satisfying. Hence, the key lies in bridging the gap with open dialogue, both spoken and felt. It requires creating a safe space where each person can share their real feelings, preferences, and boundaries without fear of judgment or disappointment. Being able to voice what brings pleasure or discomfort, or even what intrigues us but feels uncertain, invites greater intimacy. Equally important is learning how to listen, not just hearing words, but tuning into nonverbal cues, emotional undertones, and the rhythms of connection that foster closeness. When both partners engage in this shared language of communication, the experience of closeness transforms from something physical or external into a profound emotional exchange. It becomes less about doing and more about being together in mutual care and understanding. This shift often leads to a renewed sense of excitement and passion, grounded in trust, respect, and shared discovery. Moreover, this kind of connection doesn't rely on grand gestures or perfect timing. It thrives in the everyday moments and small acts of attentiveness, Recognizing the importance of these smaller exchanges helps dispel the notion that intimacy is only about the big events or dramatic expressions. Instead, it's about consistently showing up for each other, noticing subtle needs, and responding with kindness and love. In this light, intimacy is not merely a physical act, but a living dialogue between two people committed to learning and loving one another more deeply over time. Just as a well-chosen gift reflects understanding and care, so does affectionate closeness that honors the unique desires and feelings of each partner. The beauty of this journey lies in the ongoing discovery of what truly brings joy to the one we cherish most. Ultimately, the path to a fulfilling relationship winds through patience, empathy, and the courage to communicate honestly. It invites us to move beyond assumptions about what our partner should appreciate and towards a deeper knowing of what truly delights and satisfies them. In doing so, we transform gifts of affection from simple exchanges into celebrations of love that nourish both giver and receiver in equal measure. Back in the 1970s, when we were in our early 20s and dating, life felt like a constant adventure. We were young, curious, and full of energy, eager to explore not only the world around us, but also the depths of our connections with one another. At that time, we were not practicing Christians, and the social atmosphere encouraged freedom and openness in many aspects of life, including physical affection. For us, everything felt new and exciting, and that sense of discovery gave our relationship a vibrant and electrifying quality. We shared moments of closeness just about anywhere, whether in our homes, in cars, or at gatherings. Privacy, as important as it is, was not always a priority, and spontaneity often took the lead. This openness allowed us to immerse ourselves fully in the joy of being together. I can still recall the satisfaction I felt when I could bring joy to my partner, when our closeness resulted in real connection and mutual happiness. Likewise, when he showed his care and affection for me, it created a beautiful balance where both of us felt cherished and valued. In those early days, everything felt simple and right. However, as time went on, we discovered that not every experience or expression of affection resonated equally with both of us. Some things, while once exciting, grew less enjoyable or comfortable over time. It wasn't about judgment or criticism. Rather, it was about discovering true preferences, limits, and what genuinely brought pleasure. One of the important realities we learned is that in a loving relationship, you don't want to ask or expect your partner to do something that feels uncomfortable or unwelcome. Respecting each other's boundaries is fundamental, and when something doesn't feel right, it's often healthier to let it go rather than push through it out of obligation or habit. Slowly, the experiences we shared became more focused on what truly felt good for both of us. This natural refinement, however, isn't always easy to navigate without clear communication. That's why emotional and affectionate communication became the cornerstone of our connection. This kind of communication means more than just exchanging practical information. It's about expressing feelings, desires, and needs in a way that invites understanding and responsiveness from one another. Both partners need to be open and vulnerable enough to share what they want, what they enjoy, and also what doesn't work for them. More importantly, it requires active listening, where each person gives genuine attention and consideration to their partner's words and emotions. Expressing affection and nurturing intimacy isn't about fulfilling personal fantasies alone. It's about discovering what brings happiness and satisfaction to your partner. When you understand and act on what your partner truly needs, you create a deeper connection than anything that can be achieved through assumption or one-sided thinking. This shift from focusing solely on what we prefer to truly caring for what our loved one desires leads to a mutual exchange where both give and receive joy. One of the lessons from our journey was realizing that the greatest blessing in closeness and intimacy lies in the act of giving itself. When you offer your partner affection and care with sincerity and without expectation, the experience often becomes more meaningful than you could imagine. Sometimes it means doing something simply because it pleases them, even if it's not your own first choice. And quite often, that selflessness is returned in beautiful and unexpected ways. We also found that spontaneity amplified the pleasure of being together. Moments of closeness outside the usual settings, the quiet corners of a park, the back seat of a car, or even the buzz of a gathering added a spark that made experiences feel fresh and exciting. Exploring new places and times helped break routines and injected a sense of adventure into the relationship. This underscored a broader truth. Intimacy isn't confined to a single time or place, but is a dynamic, evolving part of a relationship that thrives when both partners are willing to be creative and present. Looking back, it's clear that we started with enthusiasm and a genuine desire to connect, but it was our willingness to adjust and communicate honestly that transformed our early experiences into lasting intimacy. Emotional closeness, like physical affection, benefits deeply from trust and openness. By sharing fears, insecurities, likes, and dislikes, we forged a path to a relationship where each of us felt truly understood and cared for. In our early years, the excitement sometimes masked the need for deeper conversation. We often assumed that enthusiasm alone was enough, but over time we saw that passion paired with clear, loving communication is what sustains connection through the challenges life inevitably brings. As relationships mature, priorities shift, life becomes busier, and external responsibilities grow. Without continued conversation about needs and desires, affection can unintentionally take a back seat. That's why keeping communication alive and honest is vital to preserving intimacy throughout all phases of life. Ultimately, our experiences taught us that affectionate connection isn't something that simply happens, it's something we cultivate together. Being willing to listen openly, to speak truthfully, and to respond with care enriches both partners and breathes life into the relationship. The foundation of this kind of closeness is built not just on shared moments, but on shared understanding and heartfelt conversations that honor the unique ways each person expresses and receives love. Each of us agrees that sharing spontaneous, affectionate closeness in a way that truly resonates with our partner is an incredible joy. There's something deeply fulfilling about giving without expectation. Yet often, these moments of giving naturally lead to receiving in return. The beauty lies in the mutual desire to bring pleasure and satisfaction to one another, purely for the sake of love and connection. Over the years, there have been times when one partner would be deeply engaged in expressing affection, fully focused on the joy of the other, and the energy created between them was so powerful and genuine that it elicited natural, heartfelt responses. In those moments, the physical and emotional connection seem to transcend ordinary experience and bring both partners closer than ever before. One of the main pitfalls in any intimate relationship is entering into it with the assumption that we already know everything there is to know about affection and closeness. It can be tempting to believe that past experiences or cultural messages give us all the answers. Even more challenging is expecting our partner to be content with that same narrow understanding, forever satisfied with repetitive patterns without room for exploration and growth. But intimacy evolves, and so should our willingness to learn and adapt. Stagnation often dulls the spark, while openness to discovery keeps it alive. As life progresses, so do the circumstances surrounding a relationship. Marriage brings with it new responsibilities, raising children, managing homes, careers, and countless everyday demands. All of these can create distractions that quietly erode the sense of privacy and spontaneous connection that once seemed effortless. It's common for physical affection and intimacy to take a back seat to the busyness and stress of daily life. This reality challenges couples to be intentional, to carve out time and space for closeness amidst the clutter of modern living. After marrying and building a life together, we found that our exploration of affection had to mature as well. Joining a faith community and becoming practicing Christians offered new perspectives and sometimes brought additional challenges. We were exposed to many viewpoints about what was appropriate or inappropriate, right or wrong, which sometimes caused confusion or internal conflict. Listening to friends, mentors, and leaders introduced ideas that did not always align with our personal experiences or feelings. This dissonance was a reminder that not every external opinion holds truth for every individual or couple. The reality is that when entering the sacred bond of marriage, the relationship becomes exclusive and monogamous, especially on an intimate level. This means that each partner becomes the sole source of emotional and physical fulfillment for the other. It can be deeply painful when one partner feels that their needs aren't being met or that their expressions of affection are not reciprocated in the way they long for. Such unmet needs can create feelings of rejection, loneliness, or frustration. Without open communication and willingness to meet each other's desires, these feelings can fester and contribute to a distancing between partners. In our circle, we have known couples where communication breakdowns around intimacy led to severe struggles. For some, it meant one partner withdrawing altogether from physical closeness. In other cases, feelings of inadequacy and defeat overwhelmed the individual trying to meet unspoken or misunderstood expectations. These experiences highlight the immense importance of ongoing dialogue about desires and boundaries. It's a shared responsibility to nurture this aspect of a relationship and to ensure that both partners feel valued and satisfied. A vital lesson we learned is that giving to your partner means giving what they truly need, not just what you want to give. This mutual cooperation requires empathy, patience, and flexibility. It is not a one-sided effort, but a dance where both individuals adjust and respond to each other's unique preferences. This approach allows intimacy to flourish in a way that honors both people's happiness and well-being. Our own affectionate journey, which we sometimes refer to as our affectionate exploration, was built on a foundation of honest and open communication. This meant speaking candidly about what really turned us on, what felt good, and what did not. Unfortunately, the courting process often encourages a kind of self-censorship or withholding of full truth to avoid judgment or rejection. Many couples enter marriage carrying unspoken desires or inhibitions, hoping that in time they might safely reveal their true selves. This hiding can create distance and misunderstandings that become harder to bridge as time goes on. In Christian marriages especially, there can be added layers of complexity. Certain desires might be viewed as taboo or unchristian, which can lead to feelings of shame or guilt. Yet, the truth remains that healthy, consensual, affectionate closeness is a vital part of a thriving marriage. Approaching these topics honestly and compassionately with your spouse is essential for deepening intimacy and building trust. While this discussion covers many aspects of affection, let's bring the focus to one particular area of connection: oral affection. This intimate expression can be a powerful way to communicate love, pleasure, and care. However, it requires that same foundation of trust and openness, the willingness to discover what each partner truly enjoys, and the readiness to communicate honestly about likes, dislikes, comfort levels, and boundaries. Mistakes often happen when one assumes they know best, without listening to the subtle signals or direct feedback from their partner. An important step is to acknowledge that affection, including oral expressions, need not be limited to the bedroom or expected routines. Exploring new times and places can add excitement and spontaneity that invigorate the relationship. The joy of giving becomes even richer when you can attune yourself to your partner's unique responses, when you put aside assumptions and truly pay attention. Every person has different senses and preferences. What feels amazing to one might be less pleasurable to another. By maintaining open conversations, both verbal and nonverbal, you build confidence and deepen connection. Encouragement, gentle guidance, and honest feedback all play vital roles in creating experiences that satisfy and delight. Beyond the technical details, the heart of this affectionate journey is a shared willingness to explore together with joy and respect. When both partners approach intimacy as a cooperative adventure, free from pressure and rich with encouragement, it leads to powerful and lasting bonds. The excitement of discovery then becomes an enduring thread throughout your time together, lighting the way for a fulfilling and passionate relationship. Entering into marriage means embracing a monogamous relationship that encompasses emotional, physical, and intimate exclusivity. This commitment signifies that each partner becomes the sole source of affection, support, and satisfaction for the other. Understanding and honoring this responsibility is essential for cultivating a healthy and lasting bond. It is therefore critical that both individuals strive to meet each other's needs, not just with what they want to give, but with what truly fulfills their partner. Unfortunately, when these needs go unmet, feelings of neglect, disappointment, or rejection can easily arise, creating fertile ground for emotional distance or even the temptation of seeking fulfillment elsewhere. In various relationships we have witnessed, a lack of open communication about preference and comfort has led to profound difficulties. Some marriages have struggled because one partner withdrew from physical closeness altogether, often due to discomfort or dissatisfaction that was never properly addressed. Others have faced crises when feelings of inadequacy and frustration overwhelmed one or both spouses, unable to decipher what was truly required or how to bridge the gap. These situations underline the importance of continuous, honest dialogue about intimacy and the mutual effort required to nurture this vital aspect of partnership. A key insight we came to is that fulfilling your partner's needs requires more than intuition. It asks for empathy, patience, and a willingness to explore beyond personal preferences. This mutual cooperation becomes a dance where each partner adjusts with care, tuning into the other's desires, preferences, and boundaries. Giving becomes an act of love that prioritizes the happiness and well-being of the other person over individual desires or expectations. This idea of mutual cooperation and open communication forms the core of what we sometimes call our affectionate journey. Early on, many couples, ourselves included, feel the pressure to conform to certain expectations or hide genuine longings during courting, fearing judgment or rejection. This withholding can cause unspoken tension that carries over into marriage, creating walls where vulnerability and authenticity should flourish. Over time, these hidden truths may make intimacy less satisfying and can create barriers that seem difficult to overcome. The experience is even more pronounced within Christian marriages, where certain expressions of affection or desires are sometimes viewed through a lens of morality that labels them inappropriate or unchristian. These beliefs can unintentionally cause shame, guilt, or fear, making honest conversations about sexual and emotional needs all the more challenging. Yet the reality remains that a thriving marital relationship requires addressing these topics openly and respectfully, recognizing that consensual and loving intimacy is a sacred gift intended to deepen the bond between spouses. With that said, this discussion specifically focuses on affectionate closeness, including intimate expressions such as oral affection. One common misstep is the assumption that one knows best, or that intimacy should only happen in certain places or under particular conditions. Limiting oneself in this way can not only reduce excitement, but also stifle the natural evolution of the relationship. Exploring together, whether it be times, places, or types of affection, invites spontaneity and joy that enrich the partnership. Attuning yourself to your partner's unique reactions is another important aspect. No two people experience intimacy in the same way. Preferences, sensitivities, and responses vary greatly. Therefore, paying attention and asking for feedback, both direct and indirect, are vital for building confidence and ensuring that affectionate gestures truly resonate. Encouragement, verbal cues, and receptive listening create a space where vulnerability is safe, allowing each partner to freely express what brings pleasure or discomfort. With all these elements in place, what unfolds is a dynamic interaction marked by respect, care, and mutual delight. Approaching intimacy with this mindset transforms it from a mere physical act into a meaningful exchange that strengthens emotional connection and trust. Each experience becomes an opportunity to learn more about each other and deepen the bond that holds you together. It is also important to recognize when your partner expresses boundaries or preferences that differ from your own. Respecting these differences is non-negotiable. Intimacy flourishes when both partners feel seen, heard, and valued. This might mean trying new things that your partner enjoys, even if they are unfamiliar to you or outside your comfort zone, while honoring your own limits with equal care. This balance of giving and receiving, pushing boundaries gently and consensually, creates a relationship where growth is shared and love is enriched. Finally, understanding that this journey is ongoing helps prevent the complacency that sometimes threatens long-term relationships. The idea that we have arrived or mastered intimacy is a misconception. Instead, intimacy is a living, evolving part of a partnership, one that calls for patience, curiosity, and continuous communication. By committing to this path together, couples can navigate changes brought by life's seasons, health, emotions, and more, maintaining a closeness that deepens rather than diminishes. Embracing these principles can transform not only the physical, but also the emotional fabric of marriage. When both partners actively listen, speak honestly, and respond lovingly, they build a foundation of trust and satisfaction that supports a joyous and fulfilling partnership. This shared commitment to openly exploring and honoring each other's needs invites a love that grows richer with time, creating a bond resilient enough to withstand challenges and vibrant enough to celebrate life's pleasures together. One of the most common mistakes couples make is assuming that they know best when it comes to intimacy. This assumption can put unnecessary pressure on both partners and create misunderstandings that erode connection. It's important to remember that intimacy, especially affectionate closeness, isn't confined to any single place or routine. Limiting these experiences to a specific time or location, such as only in the bedroom, can inadvertently stifle creativity and spontaneity. Instead, being open to exploring affection in various settings, whether during a road trip, a quiet park, or even a moment stolen away at a social gathering, can add excitement and freshness to a relationship. This freedom invites partners to reconnect in unexpected and meaningful ways, breaking up the predictability that often accompanies long-term relationships. The journey toward shared happiness through intimacy is deeply personal and unique to each couple. What works wonderfully for one pair may not resonate for another, which is why communication remains the foundational element. Partners should freely share their likes, dislikes, and boundaries, creating an environment where curiosity and willingness to learn about one another take center stage. This openness helps prevent stagnation and fosters an atmosphere where affection evolves naturally over time. As an example, in affectionate closeness, paying attention to every part of your partner's body, not just one focus point, can deepen pleasure and connection. For women, gentle, soft kisses and caresses to sensitive areas like the inner thighs or around the pelvis can be incredibly soothing and exciting. Delicately tuning into how your partner responds can guide your touch, making sure it brings joy rather than discomfort. These small, thoughtful gestures demonstrate care and attentiveness, which are as important as the physical techniques themselves. For men, similar sensitivity exists. Understanding that certain areas like the underside of the penis, including the frenulum, are especially responsive can be helpful. Using your hands in tandem with affectionate gestures involving the mouth offers a variation in sensation that can intensify pleasure. Incorporating gentle touches, such as fondling the scrotum with care and sensitivity, adds layers of connection. Equally, communicating visually, making eye contact while sharing affectionate moments can heighten intimacy and emotional closeness. These shared glances are a powerful way of expressing love and appreciation beyond words. In the course of a long relationship, physical changes happen naturally, affecting levels of sensitivity, endurance, and comfort during intimate moments. Recognizing and adapting to these changes with patience and understanding is essential. For example, as men age, it might take longer to reach climax, and sensations may feel different. This shift doesn't imply loss, but offers an opportunity to explore other ways of giving and receiving pleasure that celebrate the evolving body. Adjustments like combining different types of stimulation or pacing the experience differently can make affectionate moments enjoyable and deeply satisfying. Exhaustion or physical strain, especially during activities involving the mouth or particular positions, can also impact how intimacy is expressed. Introducing variety, such as incorporating the use of hands alongside or as breaks during affectionate closeness, can ease this burden. Being attentive to your own comfort, as well as your partner's, plays a vital role in maintaining the energy and enthusiasm that fuel these shared experiences. In all of this, communication remains the guiding star. Verbal feedback such as softer, harder, or keep doing that helps clarify what feels best in the moment. Listening to nonverbal cues, the way your partner moans, sighs, or responds, physically provides ongoing guidance. Encouraging each other throughout the experience, whether through light teasing, whispered words, or playful expressions, boosts confidence and deepens the emotional bond. There's also room to gently experiment with new experiences, always with mutual consent and respect. Trying different locations, varying rhythms, or incorporating additional affectionate touches can infuse excitement and discovery. Introducing elements like finger touches, gentle massage, or subtle stimulation to other sensitive areas can heighten pleasure. The key is continuous dialogue and attentiveness to how each partner responds to these new explorations. Without pressure or expectation, trying new things becomes a shared adventure that builds trust and intimacy. As a relationship matures, the rhythm of affectionate closeness often settles into a comfortable, familiar pattern. While comfort is valuable, it shouldn't lead to complacency or resignation. Keeping an open heart and mind towards each other's desires and revisiting conversations about intimacy nurtures the ongoing evolution of affection. Life's ups and downs, health issues, stress, emotional fluctuations may influence how and when closeness happens. Approaching these changes with compassion and flexibility allows couples to adapt gracefully rather than lose connection. When intimacy is nurtured thoughtfully, it becomes a source of strength and renewal. It offers a space where partners can not only express physical desire but also emotional support and love. This holistic approach deepens commitment and creates a cycle of joy and mutual care. The result is a partnership where both individuals feel cherished, heard, and intimately connected beyond the physical act itself. In summary, affectionate closeness thrives on mutual respect, open communication, attentiveness, and a willingness to explore together. Avoid assumptions, embrace variety, and prioritize listening to your partner. Celebrate each moment of connection as an opportunity to deepen your bond and share the unique language of your love. By doing so, couples create an enduring intimacy that enriches their relationship and brings profound satisfaction for both.